thank you for tuning into our channel. Please hit that like button if you like anime. Please subscribe and share with others so we can continue to grow and entertain you better. Now back to the show.
The gathering storm and the festival of fate. The Emperor's throne room had packed with corruption. The air inside the Imperial Palace of Dominion was thick with the scent of burning incense and polished steel. Towering marble pillars, veined with obsidian and gold, lined the vast throne room, stretching so high they seemed to scrape the heavens. The banners of the Emperor of Krenos draped from the ceiling, black and crimson, embroidered with a sigil of a serpent coiled around a blade, symbolizing his unyielding grip over his people. Upon a throne of black stone and gilded edges, Emperor Kalzar lounged, his face etched with pride and arrogance. His robe, woven with golden embroidery, shimmered in the dim firelight of the massive brazier before him. His hand rested lazily on the hilt of a ceremonial dagger, the blade stained from past executions. His people called him a god among mortals. He believed it. And yet, tonight, a true celestial being descended upon him. A rupture in the sky cracked open, light pouring from an impossibly large floating cube above the palace. From its depths, Saiyan, the radiant angel, emerged. His golden red eyes glowed brilliantly like the sunlight of the divine. His pristine robes flowed unnaturally, untouched by wind, his silvered eyes cold and unreadable. As he descended, his presence alone drew a hush over the court. Even the most battle-hardened warlords, the Emperor's elite underbosses, dared not speak as the angel landed upon the marbled floor without a sound. Saiyan's voice echoed, soft yet overwhelming. Emperor Kalzar, I have come to ensure our arrangement remains intact. The Emperor, despite his arrogance, knew better than to feign superiority before an angel. He straightened, his lips twisting into a knowing smirk. I never falter in my obligations, Lord Saiyan, he mused, his tone slick with honeyed deceit. Our warriors are at your disposal. The experiments proceed as planned. Saiyan's gaze darkened. And the weapon? Kalzar gestured lazily, snapping his fingers. The massive steel doors at the far end of the chamber creaked open, revealing a corridor that led into the depths of the palace. A hellish red glow emanated from below, accompanied by a distant, inhuman shriek. Would you like to see for yourself? The Scion Festival, a moment of joy. Far from the Emperor's wicked schemes, deep beneath the surface of Krenos, a celebration was reaching its peak. The great Scion Cavern, once a hiding place for rebels and exiles, now roared with the untamed energy of warriors released from the burden of war. Massive torches lined the cavern walls, their amber glow flickering over carved murals of ancient Scion legends. Tables stretched as far as the eye could see, stacked with roasted meats, spiced vegetables, and golden alish. And at the heart of it all, dancing, drums, and wild revelry. Goku and Vegeta entered the cavern to a thunderous cheer. Scions young and old pounded their fists against their chests in salute, their voices raised in songs of victory. Carvus stood proudly, raising a mug of dark Scion rum toward them. Our warriors return. Drink, feast, and let this night be remembered for all time. Goku, grinning ear to ear, grabbed a massive plate of food. Oh man, I've been waiting for this, he said, stuffing a piece of roasted meat into his mouth. Vegeta, loosen up. It's a party. Vegeta crossed his arms, scowling. I don't dance, Kakarot. Carvus chuckled, handing Vegeta a mug of the strongest Scion rum. You say that now, my prince. But the night is young. Vegeta snatched the mug, sniffing the contents cautiously before taking a sip. Then another. And then, a deep, satisfied exhale. Goku blinked. Vegeta, are you enjoying yourself? Vegeta's eye twitched. Shut up, Kakarot. Moments later, he was drunk. And dancing.
So let the drums thump, feel the bass drop. Together we stand, we won't ever stop. With every heartbeat, we're one with the night. In this celebration, we'll take flight. Rise up, feel the power, let's soar. Echoes of warriors calling us for more. Dance to rhythm, it's our destiny. Saviors of the prophecy, can't you see?
The prophecy unfolds, the Omni-Moon opens a gateway. As the celebration continued, the blue glow of the Omni-Moon crept into the cavern through a crack in the ceiling, washing the shrine in ethereal light. Vegeta, Goku, and Carvus stood near the shrine, mugs in hand, the warmth of Saiyan rum filling their veins. Then, a ripple in the air. A sudden vortex of silver energy burst open beside them, the fabric of reality torn as if answering an ancient call. The cavern fell silent. Before they could react, they were sucked into the light. And in a blink, they stood before the thrones of Lord Conqueror and Lord Morse. The Grand Hall of the Scion Gods was a place of impossible beauty and raw power. Towering golden pillars stretched into eternity, banners of old Scion empires fluttering in a windless sky. A vast feasting table stretched for miles, divine warriors raising their mugs in celebration. And at the head of it all, upon thrones of celestial fire and shadow, sat the two greatest Scions to ever exist. Lord Morse raised a single hand. Shoo! Goku froze mid-sentence. Morse lifted his nose, sniffing the air. Do you smell that? Conqueror's eyes gleamed. Hell yeah! That's Scion rum. Morse turned to Conqueror, smug. Pay me. The hall erupted into laughter. Vegeta, Goku, and Carvus stood in stunned silence. Morse snapped his fingers, Vegeta's mug vanished and reappeared in his hand. He took a sip, paused, and then, his voice boomed across eternity. It was mustard seeds. The feast roared with cheers. Conqueror rose from his throne, raising his mug high, his voice booms in a great roar. Are we not Scions?
Are we not
The
Saiyan?
howl of battle cries shook the heavens. And so, with their cups mystically refilled, the
Drink
warriors
up,
drank,
men, for you shall have your
for
fill.
destiny was near. And soon,
I told you we would have that rum right on time, didn't I? On this Omni-Moon, the prophecy has been fulfilled.
the warmth of the Omni-Moon's divine glow faded into darkness. Then, a dull ache throbbed in Vegeta's head. Morning had come. Vegeta's eyes blinked open, his vision adjusting to the dim light of the Scion Cavern Shrine. He sat up slowly, stretching his arms as a deep groan left his throat. His body felt refreshed, strong, recharged. To his right, Goku lay sprawled out on the stone floor, his mouth wide open in a snore. To his left, Carvus was curled up, still clutching his now empty mug of Saiyan rum. Vegeta narrowed his eyes. Wait, did that actually happen? Goku bolted upright, yawning and stretching. Man, I feel great, he said, rubbing his stomach. Like, really great. Vegeta, do you feel that? It's like my energy's been amplified. Vegeta clenched his fists, feeling the raw power coursing through him. His usual aching muscles from battle? Gone. Instead, he felt revitalized, as if his entire being had been restructured. Carvus groaned as he sat up, rubbing his temples. It was the drinks, he muttered. You guys kept saying you don't drink, but then you wouldn't stop getting more. And let me tell you, whatever Lord Morse and Lord Conqueror did, they infused something into that last round of Scion rum. Vegeta raised an eyebrow. So it really happened? Carvus nodded. Oh yeah. You two had a lot of questions. You were fascinated with their strength, their history, everything. They told us stories of the past, of ancient battles, of the balance that must be kept. Goku scratched his head, laughing awkwardly. I hope I didn't make a fool of myself. Carvas smirked. Actually, you both handled yourselves well. And before you passed out, you asked for something. He reached into his battle-worn cloak and pulled out 2 parchment scrolls, sealed with a mysterious sigil. You asked for the recipe for the original Scion rum. Vegeta's eyes widened. Humph. Even drunk, we had priorities. Carvas laughed, then handed Vegeta a small, glowing mug, sealed with an arcane spell. You also wanted to save some for Lord Beerus. Goku's face lit up. Oh yeah. He's gonna love this. Vegeta scoffed. Humph. If that lazy cat actually does something useful for once, he'll deserve it. Just then, a faint buzzing echoed from Vegeta's small pocket. His eyes narrowed. He reached inside and pulled out the orb communicator. Lord Beerus. The glowing sphere pulsed with divine energy before a familiar voice broke through. Greetings, Vegeta. Vegeta's brows furrowed. Lord Beerus. What do you want? The image of Whis appeared first, his usual smug smile in place. Vegeta, Lord Beerus was wondering about that little elixir you were supposed to obtain. Then, Beerus's grumbling voice cut through the transmission. Just put it in the orb already. Whis can retrieve it through his staff. Vegeta sighed, rolling his eyes. With a flick of his wrist, he placed the enchanted Scion rum mug into the orb. Poof! Beerus's voice boomed through the orb again. Oh, and by the way, we can hear everything you're saying. Goku froze. Oh. Beerus continued, his tone growing sharper. Stop playing around, Goku. And Vegeta, good job. But you better not let me down. Whis chuckled softly in the background. Oh my, Vegeta. This rum may be quite interesting. I'll make sure Lord Beerus doesn't drink it all in one go. Carvas took a step forward, clearing his throat. Lord Beerus. Whis. I am Carvas, the Shrine Keeper. Beerus sighed dramatically. Ugh. Good job, Shrine Keeper. Now make sure these 2 stay on their toes. Yes, my lord, Carvas replied firmly. Then Beerus perked up. Now let's make this show a little more exciting before my butt starts hurting from all this waiting. The transmission cut off. The orb pulsed once more before fading. Vegeta shook his head. Humph. That lazy destroyer. Goku grinned. Well, at least we got him something nice. Carvas smirked, looking toward the towering shrine behind them. It seems fate has something planned for you too. Vegeta's expression darkened. He could still feel it. The presence of something ancient. Something stirring. And soon, the time for celebration would end. For war was coming. Chapter, The Gathering Storm and the Battle for Power. The energy from the orb's transmission faded, leaving behind a silence that felt heavy with destiny. Goku, Vegeta, and Carvas stood near the towering Saiyan shrine, the faint hum of the Omni-Moon still lingering in the cavern. The echoes of the celebration could still be heard in the distance, laughter, music, the clanking of mugs, but here, in this quiet moment, the weight of what was coming settled over them. Carvas took a slow sip from his refilled mug, his gaze thoughtful. Now that Lord Beerus knows we've made progress, we can't waste time. The Emperor and the angels backing him will start moving their pieces soon. Vegeta crossed his arms, his face unreadable. Humph. Let them try. If these so-called warriors think they can kill us in that arena, they'll learn what real Saiyan power looks like. Goku leaned against the shrine, tapping his fingers on the stone. Yeah, but we gotta be smart about this, Vegeta. We can't just power through everything. We have to win the crowd. Vegeta snorted. What do I care about the crowd? Carvas smirked, setting his mug down. You should care, Prince Vegeta. The people watching in the arena aren't just spectators, they're pawns in the Emperor's game. He keeps them under control by making them believe in his champions. If you and Goku dismantle his warriors too quickly, the people won't see you as heroes, they'll see you as threats. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. TCH. So you're saying we play their game? Goku nodded. At first. We rally them to our side. Let them see that we're not just fighters, we're the real protectors of this place. Carvas leaned forward. And when the moment is right, we strike. The Scions who've been too afraid to rise up will have no choice but to stand with us. Vegeta clenched his fists, his Scion instincts burning inside him. Every fiber of his being told him to wipe the Emperor's forces off the map now. But he also knew strategy. This was war. And war was fought with more than just power, it was won with precision. Finally, Vegeta smirked. Fine. We'll play their little game. Carvas and Goku nodded. The path was set. The arena, Vegeta's reckoning begins. The Colosseum of Dominion was more than just a battleground, it was a monument to oppression. Towering white stone pillars reached toward the sky, holding up the massive stands where thousands of spectators roared in anticipation. The arena floor, once pristine, bore scars from past battles, cracks, scorch marks, and the blood of warriors lost to time. In the VIP chambers, the Emperor sat upon his golden throne, draped in his crimson robes, his expression smug as he sipped his wine. Beside him, his elite underbosses stood at attention, their eyes fixed on the battlefield. A single gong echoed across the stadium. The announcer's voice boomed across the Colosseum. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tournament of Dominion. Tonight's fight was different. The crowd could feel it. There was an energy in the air, something that hadn't been there before. Something unstoppable. The announcer continued. Our next warrior is one who needs no introduction, one of the so-called heroes from Universe 7. He fights not just for victory, but to prove that his kind are the strongest. Saiyan Prince. Vegeta. The massive iron doors at the far end of the arena creaked open. Vegeta stepped forward. He walked slowly, deliberately. No theatrics. No posing. Just a warrior stepping onto the battlefield like he was born to rule it. The crowd's reaction was mixed. Cheers from those intrigued by his power, boos from those who saw him as a threat to their emperor's rule. Vegeta didn't care. He wasn't here for their approval. He was here for war. The challenger, Raku, the hybrid mercenary. Across the battlefield, another set of gates thundered open. A figure emerged. Tall, broad-shouldered, and wrapped in dark combat robes, his stance was calculated, a predator assessing his prey. His eyes gleamed with malice, his lips curled into a mocking smirk. The announcer's voice carried again. And his opponent, a warrior feared across the land. A hybrid of the brutal Saktox people and a scion. A mercenary whose hands have bathed in the blood of kings. The Crimson Reaper, Raku. The crowd exploded with cheers. Raku cracked his knuckles, rolling his shoulders as he stepped forward. Heh. You're smaller than I expected, Prince. Vegeta grinned coldly. And you're already talking too much. Raku's smirk widened. Then let's shut up and fight. The gong sounded. And hell was unleashed. The fight, Vegeta unleashed. Raku moved first. A blur of motion. His martial arts speed was incredible, his fist crashed toward Vegeta's jaw like a bullet. But Vegeta saw it. He tilted his head slightly, just enough to let the punch graze past him. Raku attacked again. A spinning kick. A sharp elbow strike. A palm strike meant to shatter ribs. Vegeta blocked it all effortlessly. His arms were a steel wall, his movements minimal, efficient, devastatingly precise. The crowd roared. Raku grinned. Not bad. Let's see how you handle this. He vanished and reappeared above Vegeta, dropping downward with a ki-infused axe kick. Vegeta didn't dodge. He raised a single arm. Boom! The impact shook the entire arena. The ground cracked beneath Vegeta's feet. But he didn't move. He stood there, unfazed, his arm effortlessly stopping the full force of Raku's attack. The crowd gasped. Vegeta looked up and smirked. My turn. Before Raku could react, Vegeta vanished. A shockwave exploded. Raku's body snapped backward, his chest caving in as Vegeta's fist drove into him like a warhammer. Blood sprayed from his mouth as he hurtled across the arena, crashing through solid stone. The stadium fell silent. Vegeta cracked his neck. Get up, mercenary. I'm not finished with you. Chapter continued, the Scion Executioner. The Colosseum air hung thick with dust and tension. The ground was still cracked from the sheer impact of Vegeta's punch, where Raku had been sent flying. For a moment, there was silence. Then, a rubble pile exploded as Raku burst from the debris, coughing, bruised, and furious. His armor was shattered in places, his lip bloodied. Yet, his eyes gleamed with something unexpected. Excitement. He wiped his mouth, grinning like a rabid animal. Heh. Finally. A real fight. Vegeta tilted his head, arms still crossed. Unbothered. Unmoved. TCH. That wasn't a fight. He smirked. That was me letting you live. The crowd gasped, some in awe, others in horror. Raku's grin twisted into something dark. His veins bulged, muscles tensed. Don't get cocky, Prince. His fists, red energy flaring around him like a storm. His hybrid nature awakened, and suddenly, the air grew heavy. Vegeta's smirk faded slightly. Not because of fear, but because of the audacity. Raku's aura swelled, crackling with an unstable power that made the ground tremble. Then he was gone. A blur of motion, faster than before. Boom! His fist slammed into Vegeta's side. The sheer force sent shockwaves rippling outward. But Vegeta didn't move. Not an inch. Raku's eyes widened. What? Before he could react. Crack. Vegeta's knee drove into Raku's gut, folding him like a piece of paper. Spit and blood erupted from his mouth as his body convulsed in pain. The crowd gasped again. Vegeta's expression? Cold. Unrelenting. Merciless. He grabbed Raku's face with one hand. Lifted him off the ground. And spoke. You think you know strength? Boom. Vegeta's elbow crashed into Raku's spine. The hybrid warrior screamed in agony as his body crumbled like glass, his knees hitting the ground. Vegeta loomed over him. You think you understand power? He vanished. Then reappeared, his fist colliding with Raku's ribs so fast that the air itself detonated. Boom! Another hit. Boom! Another. Boom! 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 Each strike was a hammer of judgment, each blow more brutal than the last. Raku coughed violently, his body convulsing from the force of the assault. The once arrogant mercenary was now reduced to a trembling wreck. Vegeta grabbed him by the collar, lifted him up like he weighed nothing. The audience was dead silent. Even the Emperor leaned forward, eyes narrowed. Raku gasped for air, his hands shaking as they grabbed onto Vegeta's wrist, desperate to break free. But there was no escape. Vegeta's eyes burned. "You destroyed a Scion school." Raku's face froze. Vegeta's grip tightened. "You slaughtered innocent Scion children for a luxury casino." Raku tried to speak, tried to defend himself. But Vegeta did not care. With a flick of his wrist, he tossed Raku into the air. The mercenary spun uncontrollably, dazed, broken. Then, Vegeta raised one hand. His aura flared, crackling with raw destructive energy. The crowd held its breath. Vegeta's voice cut through the silence like a blade. "Judgment is here." He fired. A massive energy blast ripped through the sky, engulfing Raku in a storm of destruction. The arena trembled. A howling wind surged through the Colosseum as the blast erupted into the heavens. And when it faded, Raku was gone. Nothing remained. Not even ashes. Silence before the storm. The Colosseum stood frozen. The crowd, once loud and arrogant, was now mute. For the first time, they had witnessed not just a fighter, but an executioner. Vegeta turned toward the Emperor's private balcony. Their eyes met. The Emperor narrowed his gaze, but his smirk remained. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Vegeta simply turned away. He walked toward the exit, passing the remains of the battlefield like a king leaving his throne. Goku met him at the gate, arms crossed, a grin on his face. "Well, that was intense." Vegeta scoffed. "TCH. That was justice." As they disappeared into the corridor, the gears of war continued to turn. The Emperor would not sit idly by. The angels were watching. And soon, the true war would begin. The Emperor's hidden game. The roar of the Colosseum had faded. The battle was over. Yet, in the Emperor's private chamber, a different kind of war had begun. The lavish throne room, draped in red and gold, was eerily silent. Braziers flickered, their flames casting shadows against the high stone walls. The Emperor, Kalzar, sat on his opulent throne, gripping the edge of the armrest with white-knuckled tension. His once smug expression was gone. His mercenary, Raku, one of his so-called best, had been annihilated. Not just defeated. Obliterated. Vegeta had made a mockery of him. Kalzar exhaled slowly, swirling the wine in his goblet before taking a calculated sip. His face was calm, but the subtle tremor in his fingers betrayed his frustration. Behind him, his three highest generals stood in rigid silence, waiting for their ruler to speak. The first to break the stillness was General Vexen, a tall, sharp-eyed war strategist with a scarred face and an even sharper tongue. "My lord, that was unexpected." Kalzar's gaze flickered toward him. "No. That was unacceptable." He set his goblet down gently, the metal clinking softly against the armrest. "That scion humiliated us." His voice was calm, measured, yet venomous. The people saw it. The angels saw it. General Vexen nodded grimly. "And the angels will not tolerate weakness." Kalzar's fingers tightened against the goblet before he tossed it across the room, shattering it against the marble floor. The second general, Drinka, a broad-shouldered warrior with an obsidian-plated arm, stepped forward. "The angels don't care who wins or loses." His voice was rough, gravelly. "They only care that the order remains." Kalzar's eyes darkened. "And if they suspect our true plans?" Drinka exhaled through his nose, his stance rigid. "Then we are dead men." The third figure in the room, a robed scientist known as Lord Fenthos, finally spoke, his voice smooth like silk. "Not if we move first." Kalzar turned his gaze toward him. "Explain." Fenthos smiled slightly, stepping forward. His robe shimmered faintly, pulsing with an unnatural glow. The angels gifted us their divine DNA for the purpose of strengthening our forces. But you and I both know, his eyes gleamed with an eerie hunger, we were never meant to remain beneath them. Kael'Zar tapped his fingers together, the pieces of the puzzle aligning in his mind. The angels believe they are untouchable. His voice was like a whisper of a dagger sliding from its sheath. They rule from the heavens, believing no one could ever reach them. Fenthos nodded. But what happens when mortals ascend? A cold silence filled the chamber. The thought itself was blasphemy. And yet, it was their true objective. General Vexen frowned. If we fail, they will erase us from existence. Kael'Zar's eyes burned with ruthless ambition. Then we do not fail. He leaned forward, resting his chin against his folded hands. We tighten our grip. We push the tournament forward. We let the Scions believe they are winning. Let them think they are gods among men. His lips curled into a dark smile. And then, we introduce them to what true evolution looks like. Fenthos grinned. The experiments are nearly complete. Our perfected warriors are almost ready. Kael'Zar reclined back into his throne, a new confidence settling over him. Let the angels watch. Let them believe we are merely keeping their order. He exhaled slowly, savoring the weight of his next words. And when the time comes, we will take their power for ourselves.
Thanks for watching DBZ Multiverse 16. Please share and subscribe for more future episodes.